Hi, Caleb with Brownells. In today's product spotlight, we're going to be taking a look at the Cloud Defense Light Control System. Now, before I get into it and actually start showing you the product, let's talk about why you would need something like this, or why you would want something like this. So, if you have a light mounted on your firearm, like we do here, the Streamlight ProTac, and then we also have a pressure switch added to it. The manufacturer of the light, it comes with a few different methods to attach this pressure switch to the actual handguard itself. And they're decent methods of doing so. I wouldn't say they're great methods of doing so. The Cloud Defense Light Control System is a very, very good method of attaching this pressure switch to the actual handguard, whichever direction you want to do it. So I'm going to show you the actual product here, and then we'll move on to some installation. So the first thing you notice whenever you take everything out the packaging is that it's going to come with the main plate right here. This is where the switch, or the pressure plate, will actually go into, and this one is made specifically for that ProTac switch, and you can get it for other models as well. I'll just set that right there. And then it's going to come with your two side plates, one for each side. So you're probably going to ask, why don't these come attached like everything else for a 1913 attachment? And my answer for that is actually really good. So one side of this, of course, is threaded. The other side is the one that the screws just go through, non-threaded. And they're reversible, so you can put them on either side. So with them being reversible, if you're running a setup like we are here where your light's really close, you're going to want to put your threaded side over here so you don't have to fight with trying to put, it's going to be impossible to put screws in from this side without removing the light, which we don't want to do because we're installing the pressure switch. So that's a really good feature there. The next really cool feature of this Cloud Defense system, if you can see here, it has a channel cut right at the bottom. That is for you to feed your wire through, so it has some cable management built into it, and I'll show you how to use that here. So let's go ahead and move on to the installation and everything you want to consider with that, and I'll show you how to control those cables as well. So first thing we need to determine is just do a little mock-up here, and it's going to slide in just like so, and it keys in so that it can't come out. And it's loose in there right now, but whenever we tighten the screws, it's going to pinch it slightly, and it's going to keep it nice, solid, and in place, and you don't have to worry about it damaging it either. That's not a concern. So I like to mount pretty much most of my switches with the constant on button in the very back and the momentary in the front. So we're just kind of doing a quick little mock-up here. I think we're going to want to be right about there. And handguard length and different things like that will determine where you mount your pressure switch. So knowing that we want it right there, I'm going to go ahead and take the threaded side, and I'm going to feed my cable into the system here. So you don't want to come and start right up at the top, because this cable does have to bend around to the back. So if you bend it, you can kind of see where you need to be. And I'll snap it in here, and then I'll show you what I'm doing because my hands are in the way. So it's snapped in the back right there, right? And if I do like so, you got a pretty good idea of what's going on. And you can feed it all the way down. We didn't do that here because our pressure switch is going to be so far forward next to the light that we don't have enough cable to do that. So we're just going to tuck that excess under the actual light mount. But if you had your switch mounted further back, you most certainly could. And I'll do it here real quick just to show you. Feed it all the way. Alright, so with all that being said, let me get it repositioned and I'll show you how to mount it. Alright, so with that cable fed through, I'm just going to push it up against the body, just like so. And on this one, I'm going to have to kind of come from the front and slide it because this light mount is a really low profile mount. So we got to slide through here, which is no problem. Alright, and that's looking pretty good. So now, I'm going to go ahead and take, well, making sure it lines up with the pick rails. You gotta keep that in mind. Alright, that's looking pretty good. Now we can take our plate on the opposite side. Just throw our opposite side on here. This is the easy part. Nothing, there's no rocket surgery here. And then just take our screw, push it in. It's going to go through a rail slot. And just thread it on. Now I'm going to put this on loose because I'm going to kind of adjust everything once it gets in position. Do the same thing with the front screw. Alright, now everything's on loose, so I'm just going to kind of make sure the clamps are in the proper position here. And with everything where it needs to be, I'm just going to go ahead and tighten it down. Alright, let's see. I'm going to adjust that backside just a little bit more. And you can see whenever you're tightening it down, those angles, those opposing angles are pulling each other, or not opposing angles, but those angles are pulling each other in. So everything goes together nice and easy. There we go. Snug this up, and that's all there is to it. And you can see now that the pressure switch itself isn't going anywhere, and we can take that little bit of excess cable there and just feed it underneath that light mount, get it nice and out of the way. This is also a good time to point out that if you're using the Streamlight ProTac, this little wire guide on the back moves independently from your battery cap, so you just want to make sure the cut in the back right there is facing the direction the wire's going, so it gets out the way nice and smooth there. And that's all there is to it. The wire's out the way, you got a nice good platform for your switch to mount. So that's the Cloud Defense Light Control System. If you have any questions or comments, or if you've used this product, I'd like to hear about it. I hope you like it as much as I do. So if you haven't already, go ahead and smash that like and subscribe button. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.